even myself, you know what I mean, a person that covers the sport, it's hard to keep up with every fighter even just every fighter in the UFC. You know what I mean? Like these guys coming off
Yeah.
the Contender series, the Ultimate Fighter, getting signed on short notice. Sometimes guys fight, or even women fight like twice and get cut, and I don't remember anything about their career, anything in the UFC.
Well,
And
there are definitely like times. There are definitely times like of like the UFC history that I have known the full roster. You know what I mean? Like I've known it top to bottom. I know every fighter. I know his reach. I know what he's trying to accomplish. But yeah, as you're saying, like you put the sport down or you close your book for like a month or two, and that the landscape of it completely changes. Like these guys just getting pumped in through the Contender series is like a pretty big thing coming from other organizations. So there's just so many people getting added to the roster now. It's yeah, it's a pretty interesting time.
it is, and you know, some people could look at it negatively, but I could look at it positively and say these guys are getting opportunities, man, that they would have never got maybe even like 5 years ago as a guy
No
coming into
way,
the
no way,
UFC.
no way,
No
no
way.
way, even pre-contender series. Even like this is, I feel like a turning point. Like we've seen a lot of big names come out of the contender series, but
Mhm.
even that shows you how important it is to the machine of the UFC that guys are coming off the contender series and coming into the UFC as a co-main event.
Mhm.
Because generally you fight in a co-main event, you win, your next fight is a main event. That's just how like the UFC works, or at the very least, co-main event or something like that on a UFC pay-per-view event. So to have an opportunity to fast track your career like that is it's pretty incredible
Mhm.
for the guy that wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the guy that wins, for the guy that loses, I guess it just adds a bit more pressure, adds a bit more pressure for him to kind of move past that and get through that and develop from that loss because there's so many people watching it, and
Mhm.
there's like going to be obviously some like people being hypercritical, like a lot of people being hypercritical of you because so many people saw the result of that fight.
Do you think, you know, becoming a UFC champion, right? Being on the UFC roster is a big thing. And then the next level would be to become a contender, a ranked guy. And then after that, you become the champion, right? Do you think becoming the champion, I don't know if it's not as important now than it was 5 years ago, but there seems to be more guys not really chasing the title and just chasing money. You know, you see guys taking the long way to the title, or taking different paths with their UFC career, and fighting guys that are up and coming, and just continuing to fight guys that are up and coming. You know, like there's this new path, like a Sean O'Malley or like even a Paddy Pimblett or something like that. Guys that aren't fighting what they say they want to fight. You know what I mean? Like they're always out there saying like, I want to fight this dude, this dude. Like I'm this good. I could snap this dude's arm. I could break this dude's leg. You know, like there's guys out there doing that. You know what I mean? Like they're not really fighting the best guys, but they're out there in the media so much.
Yeah, well, I guess it's like it's up to them each individually. Like those guys have both been pretty vocal about why they don't want ranked opportunities or why they don't want those guys further up the chain because obviously things get a lot tougher and there's no going back. And they've been open about it. They've said that they don't want to fight like guys of that caliber for like the money they're on. So they're gonna keep developing until their contract runs out and then negotiate a new contract and then fight those bigger name guys and because you can see it at the like the upper echelon. There's very few guys that can keep that winning streak and keep those. It's obviously like a lot harder to get finishes. It's a lot harder to be impressive at that top echelon of the sport. Like things just become a bit more difficult just because everyone's so well rounded. Everyone's fit. Everyone's like the complete package, and fights become like a bit of a coin flip at that upper echelon. So it's guys that just want to get paid before they step into the mix. Like Paddy was come out after his he's on the base rate. You know, he's on that 12 and 12 contract. And for the kind of attention that guy's drawing, that's pretty incredible. that he signed that contract.
Yeah. Well, he's got that contract, I believe, with Barstool, and Sean O'Malley, same thing. He's got his own thing going on with his show and everything. So, good
Yeah,
luck to
like,
them, man, if they want to take that avenue.
of course, I can see that. Like, if their money, their main source of income is not their UFC, right? Their main source of income is their sponsors and everything they have got outside of that, their promotion, like their marketability, like they're that's more valuable to them than beating guys in the UFC. And so the wheels of that only keep spinning, like the wheels of the sponsors and the promotion and the marketability only keep spinning as long as you keep winning. Obviously, if those guys, Sean O'Malley loses his next fight, if Paddy Pimblett loses the next fight, you will see the sponsors start to draw off. Like, sponsors in our sport are very they're very
Fickle.
They're very well. This sport is very fickle, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, the fans of the sport, like the understanding of the sport, is very, like, that's just a part of the sport. This is not something new to me. This is something that I've known I've known and watched the whole time I've been competing as a UFC athlete. It's just an incredibly fickle sport. So I can understand why these guys are being a bit more cautious about the fights that they pick.